On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, the Illinois gun ban, Facebook hates whales, the Maui fire conspiracy, and Australia loves American pickup trucks. Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Danny and Marky, and this is episode 314 of the John 1911 podcast. It is currently 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday, August 18th. And it's been a while. How have you been, Danny?
Really busy. I mean, really busy. It's nice to get let out on parole to do the podcast. It's been so long, but
Hey, now you live in Illinois. Like, I mean, half y'all you probably are out on parole. It's pretty.
well,
So
if that Illinois did pass the ban of AR style rifles, didn't you?
no, is this a recent one?
Yeah, just this week.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that.
Well, it's going to be challenged, and they know. But I mean, they had all the pomp and circumstance, and all the liberal politicians parading around like it's going to do something. And then Chicago had 42 shootings last weekend.
Yeah.
They cannot understand that the legal gun owners that register and do everything the way we're supposed to, we're not the problem. But boy, they just like pointing that finger.
Yeah, I mean, it's we had a changing a referendum to change the state constitution in Ohio. I think it made a lot of the national news because apparently you can. I didn't know this. You can amend the Ohio Constitution with just 50% of the vote, and they wanted conservatives wanted to change it to 60, which is really more of a standard way of doing it. Like that's why we have a 2/3
Right.
law. It's 2/3 to update the U.S. Constitution, also 2/3 in the Senate, and all this other kind of stuff. So, but this turned into an abortion debate, and it turned into a secondarily a gun debate because the libs were afraid that the Republicans were going to take they were gonna I don't remember if they banned some types of abortions in Ohio or part of them. I wish I mean I don't follow that, but they were afraid that if they ban abortions completely in Ohio, it would make it harder to pass a constitutional amendment to repeal the ban. If that makes any sense, I may have lost half the. So anyway, But the thing is, too, you could have a situation in Ohio where if it's only 50%, you could have maybe a constitutional amendment where they repeal the right to CCW or gun laws in Ohio.
Right. Almost like
You
a
know,
nuclear option.
Yeah, it's like holy shit. It's like, well,
What
and
did they?
if you look at the breakdown of the state, like the heat map of where the votes came from, the people voting to keep the 50% as opposed to the 60, it's Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Cleveland, you know,
Right.
Toledo, and maybe Youngstown. It's all the same, the big cities can dominate the whole state. So, but supposedly Ohio's trending more conservative. We'll have to see. So it
Yeah.
was kind of an interesting
When
thing.
is this vote supposed to take place?
Oh, this already happened. This happened last week when your vote happened, and
Oh, okay.
you had to change the constitution, and the the conservatives lost, and the liberals won. Because they basically said this isn't about the constitution. This is about abortion, and I can't deny that it probably was about abortion, but also in upstate Ohio around Cleveland, the Democrats up there were saying we're going to use this to get gun control in Ohio, and it was like then it was the media up there were like shut up, shut up, shut up, don't say that, don't tell people the truth. This is about abortion, not about guns. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll
Very,
have to.
very thinly veiled.
Mm, Truth is, what do Marky and money have in common? We're both fungible, and if they enact that kind of gun control in Ohio, John 1911 will move.
That's all you got to do.
John 1911 will move
Take me
quickly.
with you. Pull me out of this
Yeah, yeah,
godforsaken state.
yeah. I mean,
You
I'm
know.
not threatening anybody, but like people are like, oh yeah, good luck with that. It's like, no, motherfucker, fucking, it'd be quick. I mean, it
Yep.
would probably be within 3 months. I mean, if I have
I
to
don't.
build something, but it would be. I mean, building in 10 months. Matt, I mean, I'm telling you, it would be quick. It
Yep.
would be quick,
I
quickly.
I don't blame you. So, do we want to do a lot of politics? Do we want to do gun? You've been spitting out all those dailies pretty damn good lately. It's a lot. But I think that you've lost your mind. I have to check to see what you're drinking. Since when are you worried about a pasture of indigenous plants that you want to turn your tree hugger? You're scaring me.
So Danny, Danny, Danny is criticizing my plan, my wildflower plan for the John 1911 range.
you know, you know where I retired from. Well, when you go through states, if you look along the banks of interstate overpasses and this and that, you see the signs, do not mow, for those certain plants. Those were erected due to me. I'd mow those bastards from one end to the other, and it looked like a golf course when I was done. I got them
Stop.
all.
You got them all. There's at the end of it, the camera turns and the Indian's looking at the screen with a tear
That's
going
right.
down his
It's
cheek.
right
Yeah.
as the piece of garbage floats
Yeah.
by. That's
Unfortunately, that Indian's first name happens to be Giuseppe, not not, not whatever. But we're not going to let facts get in the way of emotion here. I like, look, we have this. This is the ultimate irony. It's like, I mean, I am obviously insane. You
Well,
know,
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt and told you I was just going to check what you're drinking. You label yourself as insane. I can go with
well,
that.
I mean, what are
I,
the what
I,
is
I
so?
could run with that. Go
I
ahead.
saw a girl. I saw people were showing videos of this girl um, on like TikTok, Instagram, whatever it was, and there does it. It's like a camera and these little cute girls' faces, and they get them to say shit. And this girl looks at the camera. She's young. She's attractive. She's just a young girl, and she's got this like dead eye look in her face, in her eyes, and she looks at the camera, and she goes, "I'm diagnosed BPD," and then she walks off the screen. And everyone's like, "What's BPD?" Someone in the comment goes, "It's borderline personality disorder." It's like, holy shit. And like, you see this girl and you're like, you can see guys that be like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty hot." And you realize, holy shit, this girl's crazy. And I'm thinking, so I must be BPD. So we cut all this grass at the range. Not only that, because it was hay fields, like they were haying it before we bought it. We had tenant farmers rolling up the hay. Like we have these gorgeous hay fields, okay? And I spent years keeping them cut, with that pull behind bush hog thing. And then we bulldozed this giant, 700-yard rifle range, really six, but it's seven. 700 rifle range. We bulldozed beyond that, but we're only shooting at the six right now. And then what I do, I bought bags and 70-pound bags of grass seed and put down so much grass, so because it grow, then I got to cut it, and all this drama, and then I go through all that for years, breaking the bush hog, trying to keep all this stuff cut because I don't want it to overgrow, lose control of it, and then I buy a goddamn tractor, big
And
giant thing, like so big, can't even move it in my truck, and then when I finally get that under control, I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna fuck some fucking wildflowers and I cut some shit, and it's like, what
you're
is wrong with my mind?
the king of redundancy. Oh, we'll do this to do this. Nah, we'll just mow it. No, now we'll let it stay. Now we're a nature preserve. Jesus Christ, oh, whatever
I'm
you're
telling
on.
you
I
what,
want whatever you're on. Send me some.
lithium. So, I mean, you know, mm,
I seen that, and then I'm thinking to myself, And how many attachments does that fucker have for that tractor?
Oh, I'm still trying to buy more. Well, the thing, look, the thing is, the thing is, okay,
I got you dead to rights, so you know
I have
it.
so, look, I have so much acreage, dude. I could, I could turn, I mean, just that front, like the field that people see in the front, like to the road,
Yeah.
that hayfield is 5 acres, and, it's like, there's a, in the city, there's a park,
Yeah, be
and,
careful.
oh, wait a minute, no, 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 it's not that kind of park. Well, it could
Oh.
be, I don't know. There's a park. We're not at the police blotter yet. Just wait. So, and
Oh God.
what they do is they've got these on either side of the entrance of it. They've got these they like wildflowers, and I'm like, whatever, and like, and they're 3 4 feet tall, and they have all these shit growing in them, and all these wild, and all this stuff, and it looks cool, like it's definitely different, and then one day they came in and I was watching them and they burned it. I'm like, why are you burning it? And so
It's
I'm just cut. And so apparently, what you do is it simulates. Again, this is all new to me. So if you're listening to this at home and I'm saying this all wrong, just
it's a
cut me
control
slack.
burn. Anybody knows what that is.
Well, but the ecological reason for it is
I
what
know.
they're
Go ahead.
what well, I explained to the listener, Mr. Know-it-all, Mr. Highway Maintenance Guy. Um, they basically, like, we have the fires in Canada, right? And all the smoke coming out. It was smoky in Ohio today. Is it smoky in Chicago
Yes.
today?
Yes,
Yeah.
it
So we
was.
have that shit. Well, lightning strike and the shit burns. And what happens is all the stuff catches on fire, but it's good for replenishing the ground. Well,
Correct.
instead of mowing it, what they do is they try to take a section of land and they try to simulate what it was like before,
Before
modern
anything was
technology.
ever before
And yeah,
anything was
and
ever
so
built.
so they
Yeah.
come and they burn it. They burn it, and so what happens is it kills all the invasive stuff, which includes grass, fescue grass, which is all not native to North America. I did not know that fescue grass was not from North America. I mean, I didn't know that. And so, and what it does is that it burns all the plants, and they sit and they control it, and then all the seeds fall, and then it kills all the bullshit grass. Then all the wildflowers just grow again. And I guess maybe they burn them. Maybe they burn these once a year, or maybe it's every other year. It's not really clear to me. But I'm like, I'm cutting so much. I have to cut so much just to just for these fields. That's not even the rifle range. And so, it's like, well, I'm thinking about habitat management. I'm thinking about the way things can look. Also, we have hunters, and apparently, a lot of these wildflower things are so high in calories that really draws in the deer and the animals. And it's like, well, instead of doing food plots, which we don't do, it's like, well, I don't know, maybe we could do some areas in the back of the property where we do these wildflower areas and then, burn them. And then, then they'd be kind of, build this ecosystem for the deer and kind of heal up the property a little bit. And it's just kind of my thinking. I mean, but to be honest with you, the burning thing kind of wigs me out a little bit because I don't want to be the asshole that sets fire to half the county. You know what I
You
mean?
have it's when you do a control burn, you have to let so many different people know that you're going to do it. Otherwise, fire departments will be showing up, this or that. You have to have the mats to keep it under control. You have to have about 4 or 5 people. It's an involvement. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
You have to alert sometimes the EPA because of air quality control. It's really, really, really a bunch of different entities involved.
See, I was just, and I'm not that keen on having all these government groups come into the rifle range unless they're shooters because you don't need the drama.
Well, you're
But
opening the door. You're
I
opening the
know
door.
and so it's like, well, it's like I know you got to get a permit, whatever. Let's bring a fire truck out, and that's fine.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
the fire. I mean, that's fine. The firemen want to shoot at the range, and I mean, I told them no. I don't know if I ever told you that. That was like when we first built this thing. We had a couple of the regional fire departments were like, "Hey, can we join your range?" I said, "Do you carry a badge and a gun?" He said, "No," and I'm like, "Then the answer is no." Sorry,
Uh,
it's cops. So now it's like I'm gonna look like a fucking asshole if I have to have these guys.
well, I could sympathize with them to a point,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
but
I
yeah,
I I tried to invite you down.
you got to take care of the firemen just like you do the coppers, just like you do all the other, government people, because you never know when you're going to need something.
Yeah, I know. I
You
know.
have, I mean, I know you want to keep it as private as, and you don't want it really a multi-use, with a lot of different people, but
Well, the whole point we built the range is so it's available for us.
right,
And so, I mean, if I wanted to just have a gun club, I could have a gun club, but it's like that's not how this operates.
right, it's
So,
private.
but it's like we have so much downtime. It's like, all right, we can have some cops coming in. So we let the teams come in, and it's like that's
Well,
fine.
so there's a big ad in the Chicago papers that the U.S. government is interviewing for several positions opening for air marshals. I wonder what that's all about.
I mean, there's always positions for air marshals. I mean, I don't know what.
Yeah, but yeah, they're making a big push, a giant hiring event. It's like, holy
Um,
cow!
well, I'll tell you what, because we've had a couple of I mean, where I used to work, we've had a couple of the air marshal people. I would be, I haven't checked this, so some kid out there is in his mom's basement. Don't burn me to the ground. Um, but I would venture to guess, as I recall, the air marshal shooting qualification is probably the single hardest shooting qualification in the United States government.
I would like to see that myself. That
It was I remember it was horrendous like at 9/11 and they created that whole shit. It was horrendously difficult because they were so worried about shooting people and putting holes in airplanes.
Well, and look at it this way: after 9/11, and they had that giant influx of air marshals and stuff, they all got their time in now to retire.
You know what? You're right. It's exactly 20 years.
Right.
And here's and you know what? Yeah, it's an excellent point. Former government worker. Obviously he's going to know when it's time to get that free money.
Oh,
But
shut the
the
up.
so the other thing is, and a lot of people don't realize this, because what I've used to, not anymore, used to know quite a few air marshals, is the retention rate was terrible
Oh,
because
I
the
bet.
job sucked. That is a
You're
shitty
you're
job.
literally
You're
always
just in
gone.
you're always just sitting in these stupid airplanes in these airports all day.
Right.
It's terrible. I mean, it's like it's hard, even if you can get them to hold a line, but they have to move around because if it's the same people all the time, they get picked off, and then it's like, well, international flights, and there's higher risk flights, and you realize a lot of them they do a lot of the international flights because those are the higher risk, or they'll do flights in and out. Like you'll see a lot of them do flights in and out of New York, flights in and out of Washington, flights, like there's not a lot of air marshals on the air flying on the air on the turboprop in the Billings, Montana. I
Right.
mean, I'm not saying there's never been one, but it's not a normal. It's probably at the bottom, near the bottom of the list.
Right.
Unless maybe the president's in town. So that they have a lot of people that like I knew a woman who her husband he had done that. He did it for like 4 or 5 years, and there was like they were hating life. I mean, they was like I've never seen a family hate a job so much as they as a family hated him working for the air marshal. Then he ended up getting a job working for the U.S. Marshal, doing the fugitive task force stuff.
Right. Well,
And
especially if you have younger children and you're always gone. I mean, I'm sure the thrill, wears off quite, you know, quite quickly in that job. But there kudos to those that stick with it and stay at it. But I like sleeping in my own bed at night.
I
There,
had a clue. I don't know if I'm sure I've told this story on the podcast some years ago. I don't know if I've told it since you've been on board. I had a brief moment of almost becoming an air marshal.
hmm, wow.
hmm
Nah,
I was
you're
well no wait, well, let me tell the
you're
story. Let me tell
you're
this
pretty well grounded. I can't see you as that.
wait,
I really
let me tell
can't.
the story. So I was traveling and I had firearms and I can't remember. It was in Florida. I was in Miami. I don't remember. I think I was in Miami. It was a big airport.
Yes, it
And
is.
so I've got guns and it's not an airport I was used to flying into. And I don't know, like somebody came up to me in line, like I'm waiting to check my shit. And a guy just comes right up to me and he's like, I don't know, because the way I was dressed or my haircut or whatever, this look I have. And if wearing the gator on my face probably is what it was. That's a video joke. And basically, I can't. He said something like, "Hey, is there something I can help you with?" And I was like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have some equipment I need to check." And he's makes little some of the thing like a little gun thing, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "Okay," and so long story kind of, I can remember all of it, but basically he's like, okay, follow me. And we're walking and walking and walking through and walking these back areas and walking through the tunnels. And, we're just talking and and I don't, basically at some point he realizes, I realize he thinks I'm a fucking air marshal. And then he's like, you're not an air marshal. I'm like, no. He's like, are you FBI? I'm like, no. And he literally goes, we stop. He goes, what the fuck are you? I go, I'm a civilian with a fucking handgun permit. And he literally is like, oh shit. And he has taken me, I was almost to the fucking airplane, like going back out on walking. He was going to walk me onto the jetway up the stairs on an airplane with a gun. And
Wow.
then he had to hustle me back. And I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And then he had to call TSA, oh shit, oh shit. Because it's a busy airport
Right.
just to get him to get my gun and get my equipment and to check it and run it fucking through and then run me through the TSA checkpoint. This all happened at the ticketing counter, not the TSA checkpoint.
Right.
It was a nightmare. It's like son of a bitch.
Well,
So
when any government person is traveling with their gun, you have the slip that you go to a special check-in area, and that way the pilot knows this, everybody knows this, that, all the other stuff. And there is a certain way to get on, because when I traveled with some feds a few times,
mhm.
let's just say it was carte blanche getting in.
Oh
Very,
yeah, yeah,
very,
yeah.
very, very nice to get in.
The pilots always know if there's armed people on his aircraft, his or
Yes,
her
they do.
aircraft.
Yeah, like
So
say 42C, they know he's armed. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
But one perk out of that is if there's empty first class seats, guess who they call for to move up? It's
yeah.
never failed. It's never failed. Never
Well,
failed.
and like one of the, one like I don't know. Again, I don't know how they do it now, and I don't want to try to say anything that's out of school because I'm not an air marshal. Sky is it air marshal or sky marshal? I can't even remember what it's called. Sky
Whatever they call
marshal.
them. Who knows?
I think the name has changed over time, but it used to be that because they'd seat them first. If you're one of the first people to get on an aircraft, well, I don't know, because you're I don't know, like or you have special needs, or you have are you
Right.
crippled, you get on an airplane. There's a dude sitting on that airplane before you. That's a clue. That's a clue. Like, man, that
Yeah,
guy got
that
ahead of me. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
he sure did.
yeah, that's young and fit, and he's in row one.
Yeah, yeah. No, they
Hey,
no.
did you see the news today about Trump's legal team wants the trial postponed till 2026?
Of course they do. None of this is going to probably go to trial.
No, it won't be. It's all it's so much. How gullible do these people that did the indicting think that the American populace is? Don't they think that we can see right through what's going on? And what they're doing is Trump is loving it. And I'll tell you why. I feel why is because he's getting all the free publicity he could ever ask for.
Yeah. I mean, look, they want that mugshot. No, 90% of the goal and in of these indictments is accomplished just by the indictment. I'm not saying that some people don't have any intention to go to trial, and some of the stuff is pretty specious. And, and what's happening is this is bringing up a lot of this is bringing up the reality that our forefathers knew, our founding fathers of our country knew, is what these indictments really are. Is they're just trying to, in civil court and criminal courts, or criminal courts, civilian criminal courts, to bring up the issue of the January 6th impeachment
Right.
is what this really comes down to. And it's like the problem is, and our founding fathers knew this, is the subject of impeaching a sitting president is inherently a political decision. It's not a criminal decision, it's a political decision. And so it has to be, it's even, you could pretend it's a criminal prosecution, it's not. It's there's politics. And and Congress elected to not convict Donald Trump of on the January 6 charges, whether you agree or disagree with that. Trying to relitigate some of that in the now in these civil cases is really just the Democrats engaging in the same behavior they engaged in 2016
Right.
when they were spying on Trump and saying he's a Russian agent. And hold on, now this is going to be the best part. Okay, no one's saying this. You're hearing it here first. Okay, breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Speaking to the world. All right, you mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. If Donald Trump wins in November of 2024, whatever the date is, I haven't looked it up. If he wins, from the date of him being the vote taking place, and then the date of the inauguration, which is it what, the second or third
In January, yeah.
tu- Tuesday in January or whatever? I can't remember. I apologize, but whatever that is, in January, there will be, like, there will, some of the shit the Democrats are going to do to try to stop Donald Trump from becoming president are going to be very similar, if not the same thing that they're all pissed off about that he was trying to do in some of these states in 2016. Like, okay, like for example, let's just say Trump wins either Pennsylvania or Georgia. Okay, just let me just pick those two, and all of a sudden, well, no, I don't know. Let's say Georgia or Arizona or Nevada, and he wins one of those states. There will be a push by Democrats to, all of a sudden, they'll even maybe as the election's getting closer, they'll try to pass a law that says any president, anybody that's under indictment is disqualified from being president. So they will try to find some way to finagle the bless you. They will try to finagle the electoral votes from him even after he's won in that state.
Right.
And when they're to that point, how is that any different than what they're accusing him of doing? And I'm not saying what Donald Trump did was right, but Donald Trump did a lot of shit that's coming out. Donald Trump did was wrong, and a lot of shit that Donald Trump did, you know, looks really bad. But one thing I am confident in saying about Donald Trump is Donald Trump and his ultimate defense is he ultimately does believe that the election was stolen. He believes it. He believes it was stolen in Georgia. He believes it was stolen in these other places. And if he believes it, and you go from the idea that he believes it, your mens rea, his his mode, what he was thinking, it alleviates a lot of this idea like it's a conspiracy, because getting Donald Trump elected, somebody trying to get Donald Trump elected president or reelected as president is not a criminal conspiracy. And it's not a money making endeavor. So the RICO is a criminal enterprise, and it's a money making endeavor in federal law. And it's none of this is true. None of this is applies to to Trump. And also the one in Georgia, like, what, they're going to have a trial with like 19 fucking people and that's insane.
I
That's not
seen that.
real.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not real. That's
All,
that's obviously she
but
filed these just to get so she could get her name in the paper.
correct. But let's look at I can't even say ulterior motive. Let's look at the real motive. They are so afraid of Donald Trump getting reelected. That's why they're throwing all these curveballs. But guess what? Eventually, a fastball comes in, and it's going to be hit out of the park, and that's going to be Trump swinging the bat. You mark my words, it's going to happen. It's going, or what I was thinking the other day is that the big media push will be, oh, he's under indictment, and here's their push. He only wants to get in so he could, um I can't think of the word, let himself go, or
Pardon himself.
yeah, pardon himself. That's it. I'll bet you
Well,
that will be their push.
Joe Biden has to pardon Donald Trump.
Right, it has to be a president.
Well,
I
no,
agree.
no. Well, the Joe Biden has to pardon Donald Trump, because if he doesn't, and Joe Biden isn't dead, Joe Biden's going to be in big trouble when he's out of office.
Well, if he
It's like,
makes
oh
it that far, what is he, '94
because,
now?
I mean, okay, you know what? Hey, okay, look, statistically speaking, mathematically speaking, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Donald Trump is the 45th president. Joe Biden is the 46th president. Mathematically speaking, the 47th president of the United States, mathematically speaking, it's not certain, but like percentage of, let's say it's a 40% chance or whatever it is, but it's higher than like an individual candidate. The 47th president of the United States will probably be Kamala Harris. I'm not so certain that Biden crosses the finish line. But the thing is, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the primaries. We don't know what's going to happen in Iowa. We don't know what's going to happen in New Hampshire. We don't know what's happening in South Carolina. And
Right.
everyone said it was going to be Trump, and then it was, oh, it's going to be DeSantis, and then it's like, well, now DeSantis is fading, and it's Trump, and we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But there's two things I just want to make two political observations, and they are not connected, but they're worth mentioning.
Go ahead.
The first one is, I saw Donald Trump. I've seen Donald Trump twice now in the past 10 days, on television. The first one was, he was giving a speech inside somewhere, and it was after it was one of these indictments, and he's up there talking, and he looks bad. And then I saw I saw a video of him. He was walking around. It was at the Bedminster. This was probably a week ago. He was at Bedminster for a live tournament, and it's raining. And apparently he played on a group that won. Like, Donald Trump is apparently a very good golf player, and but I was watching him and looking at him, and man, he looks bad. Like, you can tell he's aging, and I don't know, maybe it's because, like, like, he's 70 some years old. He's been playing 9 or 18 holes of golf all day in like 80-degree weather in the rain in the summer in August in Bedminster, whatever. So maybe he can look a little tired. But the last two times I've seen Donald Trump on television, I've been like, dude, like, I'm not confident that that's a guy who's going to go through 2 years of campaigning and then 4 years of his next. Like, I'm just like, you
Well,
have to realize that there's a possibility that he may not make it either, or he may not finish a term either.
exactly, and Biden both, at that age. But I remember, I want you to remember, who did I tell you when Trump will get the nomination? Who did I say, and still sticking to it, he will pick for his running mate?
You think you said no? You initially said you
Tim
had
Scott.
initially said no, no, no. You had said it was the guy from Florida, and I said no fucking way. I said the guy from Florida would never do that.
Right. And then I said he's going to take Tim Scott.
You
And you
said Tim
mark,
Scott.
and I've been
Hmm.
sticking with that. And
And you can stick
I
with it.
am, I still am going to stick with it.
Who's number two in the polls right now?
Um,
It's my
DeSantis.
second point I was going to make.
DeSantis.
No, no, no. DeSantis, no. DeSantis has fallen. DeSantis is like 14 or 12% or something. DeSantis is in free fall. DeSantis is in big trouble. The only reason DeSantis is still alive is he's got a bunch of PAC money from rich people. Who's number two?
I've been working. I would have sworn it was DeSantis.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well,
I and we'll
his
see if that sticks.
now, it won't stick because he will not resonate with a lot of southern states. When it
So
comes to the general,
okay,
that's my call.
what would be your motivation for saying that?
Um, half the people couldn't pronounce his name and they won't vote for him.
Um,
And
I mean, Barack
he
Hussein.
doesn't
All those
have a
people
lot.
voted for Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah, good point. But I don't. I still say that Trump will get the nomination and he will pick Tim Scott for the black vote, exactly like Biden did with Kamala Harris. You
So
mark
let
my
me. I'm
words.
just gonna. I want to make this about. Well, that really worked out for Joe because that really fucked him, picking Kamala Harris. But um, I want to make this point. Look, when Vivek Ramaswamy came out, I was like, "Who's this guy?" And he's like, apparently he's this ultra wealthy guy. Apparently he's from Cincinnati. He went to high school, like he went to the high school here, and it's like, okay. And I guess now he lives in, they say he lives in Columbus, Ohio, but the reality is he lives in New York. He sold his company. His wife's a doctor up in Columbus, and they really live in New York. Like, they're worth, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 million dollars, whatever they see. Whatever it is. But here's the thing. I was like, okay, who is this guy? And I watched about a month ago, or whenever he came out, and I was like, okay, who is this guy? I'm gonna look at him. And I remember sending it to you. We discussed it, and I said, I don't know a whole lot about this person, but I like his answers. And he he is very well educated, but he's very educated on America and our history. He quotes founding fathers. He talks about the Constitution. He talks about the principles that make this country great. When Vivek Ramaswamy, when he talks, his answers are so incredible. That's what's put him on the map. You should see this. I'll have to send it to you. There's a video from just a few days ago. He's in Iowa. He's working his way through Iowa, and he's with it. I see his wife was with him, and this girl comes up. She's got like pink or blue hair, and she's and you could tell it's like she's gonna do a hit on him, proverbially. She's gonna do like, I gotcha. And she walks up to him and she says something like, so I don't know what he like. She says, what do you think about gay people? Or no, when she said, what do you think about the LGBTQ plus community? And it's gonna and she's literally, you could tell she's like, aha, got your ass. And he goes, well, first of all, I don't think it's one community. And she goes, what do you mean? And he starts, well, he says, well, you're taking all these disparate groups. And he's like, and he said, he says, automatically, I think gay people are probably, don't have a lot, or like there was some, he was setting them apart from trans people, and then he went on to this answer, and he's talking about, you know, about freedom, and he's talking about whatever, and then he's talking about, and he started making this argument that, in this country we're set up to, to not suffer from the tyranny of the majority. And he says, but that doesn't mean we should support the tyranny of the minority. And he's like, he talks about, you 18 years old, do whatever, but going, and exposing kids to this kind of stuff and exposing whatever. And he's like, well, what do you think? And his answer, it was so good, it was so fucking incredible that this girl was literally like, "Thank you for your time." I was like, "I'm serious." This guy, Vivek Ramaswamy, right now to me is the best person on the campaign trail because that motherfucker can answer a question and he can actually articulate an idea and he puts it in ways that most people don't consider. And so far, I'm pretty damn impressed. I am real fucking impressed. And the fact that he's now number two, I'm like, fuck yeah. That's interesting to me.
Did
That's
you?
interesting. And I like Tim Scott. I like Tim Scott as a
I I did
personality.
see I did see last week that Pence has sunk lower than whale shit as far as any any what's he at 1.5% now. If that, it's like he's done. He's done. Why he's on the campaign trail, I'll never know.
He was always done.
Well, yeah, from that
Mike,
one day.
okay, all right, okay. So what was the one I saw the other day? And this is okay. So this is an example of this is Fox News bullshit. All right. And I got on this podcast and I complained when, Brett Baer had Mike Pence on. Because if, whenever I have Mike Pence on, whenever I talk whatever during the roundtable. And it's like, fuck you. Like, give me a fuck. This guy's not like, it's like, oh, he's a real kid. Really? Like, really? Why don't you put me on? I can run for president. I could literally pull more. I'm sure I could pull more votes than Mike Pence with my shitty resume. And I'm kind of not kidding because at least people know where I stood with stuff. Mike Pence, it can be kind of phony. Mike Pence can be kind of whatever. Tucker Carlson kind of exposed him on that. But did you hear about the first debate? Mike Pence didn't make the cut, and what they used is they used a fundraising goal. You have to raise X amount of money to make it to this debate. And the one guy, the one governor from I don't know if he's from one of the Dakotas or where he's from. What he did is basically it was if you what did he do? Something where he basically bought votes. He bought donations because he's a wealthy person. Something where like I don't know, like if you buy a shirt or if you send him whatever, he'll give you a shirt. And so basically he was selling shirts, but he was able to register them as donations. You know what I mean? Like
And I know
something
exactly what you
like,
mean.
and so he that's how he was able to raise enough money. And then Mike Pence didn't make it. And then about a week or so later, some country club Republican donated a bunch of money to Mike Pence, like a single donation. All of a sudden, Mike Pence is going to raise enough money to make it to the debate stage. And it's like, really? Like, this is fake as fuck. And, this is Fox News fake bullshit. And here's another one. Fox News had this the other day. This was like 2 days ago. If you're listening to this and you watch Fox News or you go to their website, they had an article on their website. It's about, well, something about Michelle Obama running for president. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Michelle Obama's not running for president. She's never running for president. She's not going to run for president. She's never expressed an interest in running for president, and she isn't stupid. And no one in Michelle's orbit is talking about running for president. She's not putting feelers out. She's not handshaking with the right people. She's not traveling around the country meeting with donors. You know what she's doing? She's decorating her house in fucking Martha's Vineyard. And it's like, but no, Fox News has to be like, well, Michelle Obama, because they want to get somebody and they can't get Biden, so Michelle Obama makes sense. But there's no factual basis to run that fucking story.
Well, there again, the media is only doing that as a maybe for a wishful thinking or to detract from all, detract from other things. And
Yeah.
they're running out. Well, let me finish. They're running all these different stories about Trump indicted this or that. When's the last time you heard anything about the Hunter investigation?
The Hunter investigation's been getting a fair amount of press. I mean, let's be real. Like it most certainly has. It's like, okay, we have this sweetheart deal for Hunter Biden, and then we go to court. The judge is like, "What the fuck is this? Like, I've never seen that, but I have to sign this."
And it was
And
thrown
they're
out. Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, I didn't do this. Well, I didn't do it. Well, someone fucking did it. Whatever. I didn't." And then all of a sudden, so that's out. And then it was, and then it was, uh, then the Hunter defense team said that the government has reneged on the deal that they agreed to, and the government's like, "Whoa, what deal?" And then what they did is that in Washington, it's like, "Hey, the the district attorney, the federal, the I can't remember. I'm having a brain
The
for it. The federal
DAG's
district.
office.
No, the what do you call it? The U.S. attorney. The U.S. attorney for Delaware, Weissman or Weiss, whatever his name is, Weissman. Um, who basically is the person that was his office was responsible for prosecuting Hunter and giving him the sweetheart deal. The White House or the Washington's like, or the Justice Department's like, we're going to make him a special prosecutor. So we're going to enact a special prosecutor to handle the Hunter case. But it's like, well, we're going to make this guy the special prosecutor. That means he can't answer any questions about this sweetheart deal that they were
Right.
trying to give Hunter Biden. It's like, yeah, tell me this hasn't been in the fucking news. This is
Yeah.
this is ridiculous.
It's all
This is. I
crooked.
mean, if even a half of this stink was on a fucking Trump, like if God, if one of Trump's side chicks was getting money from somebody overseas, for influence on some shit, it would be the world would crack in half. But it's like right
Oh
now it's
yeah.
okay. It's like whatever. It's like okay. I mean,
Yep.
it's
Double
it's
standard. Say it. It's
yeah,
double
it is a
standard.
double, and it's like none of it's going to matter. This just a big waste of time. I mean, it's maybe something will come of it. Maybe Trump will drop dead, may have a stroke. I don't know, but you know, I mean, I the Trump that showed up in Palestine, Ohio, with the McDonald's. That's the Trump that scares everybody because
Right.
that Trump can win. The Trump that I saw at Bedminster Golf Club at the Live tournament, I was like, ooh, what's going on there? His age finally catching up with him, and it worried me a little bit. I was like, like what's the best way I could put it? Low energy. I was like, wow, what's
Yeah.
going on with Trump?
Well, what about what's happening in Maui? Isn't that terrible?
Well, it's a conspiracy, right? Don't you know that it's a conspiracy to distract us? Apparently.
No, no. Okay, here's
Yeah.
what happened. Um, I dug into this because I knew some year we'd be doing a podcast again. So I last 2 days I've been digging into it. Apparently, it was an electrical downed wire from high winds that started the first fire.
They think that's the current theory.
This is where it starts to get intriguing. The power company has not put any money into the infrastructure of maintaining all these wires, this, that, and all the other thing, because the Hawaii state mandate to go green by 2040. So they're figuring, why should we spend all these millions and millions of now on these old fashioned power grids, this, that, and all the other stuff, when we have to invest all this new money to go green. So they have let their infrastructure corrode. And that's what they're saying, because when the wire fell and started the fire, it took such a long time for the power company to finally turn off the electricity to try to stop the burning. That's one thing. Now, the person that is in charge of the Maui civil defense or whatever it is, it's supposed to be, for all these natural disasters. He had absolutely no experience in it whatsoever. why he was hired, who put him in, and that's another reason why it's as bad as it is, because this guy, it, you know, it'd be like you running a tractor. He just doesn't. He just don't have any experience.
Dude, that shit was weak. I got almost 200 hours running a tractor, so I know quite a bit about running a tractor compared to like the
Well, if
average
you have
dude.
that many hours, you better get that thing down to the shop. It's time for an oil change.
Yeah, it's the next old it's a 500 it's a 500-hour service. I think they said is what it is.
Yeah, you
Um,
see. But
uh,
so if any of this is true, that the electrical company haven't maintained their grids and their infrastructure, and the guy in charge of the natural disaster or whatever they call, I can't think of the name right now.
heck of a job, Brownie. Remember
Yeah,
that? That's what
as,
they did to the brown guy from Bush for Katrina. And he had no experience with natural disasters. He ran FEMA.
right.
Remember him?
So
Something Brown. What did
yeah,
he
so
do?
you know it was a damn political appointment. You know it. And
Yeah, well,
so
I'm trying to
so
think what
here's
that
the
guy
thing.
did.
If here's the thing. If this is just in one state or part of one state, if other states are trying to do all this green initiative, they're not going to be putting millions into their shit either, because it's all going to be outdated and replaced. So it's going to be really, really interesting to find out what comes out of this.
Um, that is an interesting story. The Brownie guy, Michael Dwayne Brown, uh, who ran FEMA under Bush. What did he do? I'm trying to find.
He was down in New Orleans running the show, wasn't he? After
Oh,
the
no, he ran
Katrina.
FEMA.
Oh, you
Um,
were in FEMA. Okay.
what did he do? Oh, here we go. So what he did before he ran FEMA, he ran he ran the International Arabian Horse Association. So, and it's
Well,
like, well, I'm sure like it's just an administrative role, like, it's fine. But when you need a scapegoat, yeah, you're going to string up the horse dude. Bush wasn't going to bend over on that one. It's like, no,
no.
I got news for you. Yeah, you think that Clinton family's a crime family? And Bushes will fuck you. They've been fucking people for 100 years.
Well,
Um,
there's really not a lot of prerequisites if you're high on the donor list.
Yeah, so but he got a heck of a job, Brown. So speaking along these lines, so I hadn't heard the theory about that they're letting their power grids go. Did you hear about like like Facebook is a left leaning organization, right?
Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's prima facie. Like we can settle this, like we can establish that as a baseline. And it's like they most people that work at Facebook. They probably, if they donate or they get involved or they vote, they probably give money to Democrats. They vote Democrat. They caucus with Democrats. Is that's a fair statement, right?
All right.
Okay. So, would it be fair to say that people that work at Facebook probably are not only are they greenies, but they are into like save the whales,
Oh
don't
yeah.
don't don't hunt the dolphins, don't pollute, whatever,
They have
right?
Greenpeace. Yeah, they have Greenpeace tattooed on their
Yeah,
arm.
they've probably given money to that Sea Shepherd crew that goes around with that boat ramming people, right?
Green
Yeah,
Operation
yeah,
Greenpeace. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that girl, there's the Sea Shepherd is the group that actually attacks fishing boats, apparently. So it's called Sea Shepherd. Like, whenever you see the boat that gets run over, like it looks like the Batman boat, that's Sea Shepherd. They paint their boat black. Neither here nor there. Well, apparently, we have at a convergence. In fact, not a convergence. We can call it a, what is it when they call all the intersectionality? This is a very liberal way to, the intersectionality of Facebook, liberal, Greenpeace, whatever hippie flavors colliding with each other to form a mess. So apparently, Facebook doesn't care about whales. because you know all these offshore wind farms that they put all up and down off the coast of the United States, particularly
Yes.
on the East Coast because the continental shelf is pretty shallow for a while. Like they were, like they were going to put it out in front of Ted Kennedy's house, because they didn't want to mess up the view from Kennebunkport, all that shit. Well, apparently there have been some people are saying, I'm not saying this is true. I don't know if it's true, not true, if it's normal, not normal, but there are people writing stories that care about whales. So they're hippies. They're not like me. Not that I don't care about whales. Um, that are saying there have been an unusual number of whale deaths and beachings taking place all across the East Coast the past X number of years. And they are saying that it's from the wind offshore wind turbines that are killing these whales. There's a mute button, by the way, on your screen. There are off. They're saying that these offshore wind farms are killing these whales. Well, when these people, these greeny people, publish these stories on Facebook, Facebook censors the stories.
Really?
No, Facebook. Hey, Facebook is all for saving the whales, but wait a minute. But hey, they're more for green energy. So don't be publicizing stories about the wind farms killing the whales. And it's like, uh huh.
You have competing liberalisms. Now that could be
Yeah,
interesting.
the intersectionality of you know. Hey, speaking of sperm and Facebook, um, do you know that there is, I buy shit off of Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, it's like I bought attachments, I buy shit for the range, I do all kinds of stuff. Um, there's a story, there is a huge black market for sperm on Facebook.
Human?
Yes. I don't know. What kind of sperm do you want, freak? I'm just, I'm just, hey, would you, here's a bottle of horse sperm.
Do I dare? I mean, I, I is it all for in vitro or
Well,
what's the black?
apparently, if you think of just
Uh,
okay, so
uh,
here's another
oh,
intersectionality.
you've picked my interest.
Here's the intersectionality. Hey, you want to make a few bucks? Go down to Facebook and jack off on the door.
Yeah.
The intersectionality of liberal. So there's a lot of women out there that say that they don't need men, and there's a lot of women out there that have,
Oh
they
no!
not
I
have
think I know
kids,
where you're going with this.
and
Please
there's,
don't go.
you know,
I think
and
no, 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 no,
and there's
no,
all these women
no,
that are
no,
saying all this
no, no,
shit,
no. Stop
but
it! Stop it!
apparently, all these
Squirt
women
guns.
are deciding that they need, they need sperm and squirt guns because they don't have
Oh no! I
boyfriends.
guessed it. Oh my god! Oh
and
my god!
so and
Oh my
so
god!
apparently they're black market buying and selling sperm on on Facebook. And so it's all this off the record, just Lisa the lesbian suddenly is pregnant. And it's like, okay, like wow, it's a miracle, it's like, okay, just I don't know. Like, I just thought that was a crazy. Like, I've seen some pretty crazy shit for sale on Facebook. Like, Cobra Mustangs with automatic transmissions. But it's like I thought that was about the craziest thing you could see. But apparently, you could buy a bottle of jizz on the Facebook Marketplace. I don't know what they're calling it. Like, like the bodybuilders all call the steroids. They used to call it juice, and then
Right.
it was what was it? Then I guess now they call it gear. Is it gear? So like they call it. I'm just curious what these lesbian harpies
Why?
are are called.
I mean, somehow when this vivid mind of mine, I mean, to two Leslies are having fun and getting it on. Then one pulls out a mustard squirter filled with sperm, and she goes, "Here it comes, honey. I'm done."
And she squirts it right on her face. It's like, oh my God, that's not where you do it. I don't know how to do it.
Oh my god!
It's like you're watching the
What?
wrong porn.
What?
Can you
You
just
know,
imagine lesbians trying to research porn on how to get pregnant?
I personally, I'd like to see the DNA test, but
Yeah, it's like they don't want a DNA test.
oh my god, where? What the hell do you
Mm-hmm.
read? I mean, it's like here. I thought
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had something with the infrastructure of the electric. You come out with mustard squirter sperm. You've
Oh,
got me.
oh no,
You've
no,
got
no,
me beat.
no, no,
I know
no.
my betters. I have to salute.
Hold on. I got a better. I
Oh, come
speaking
on,
your betters.
stop
I got
it.
I got a better one for you. Hold on.
Oh
So, do
my
you know what
god.
a para Olympian is?
A paraplegic that does things from a wheelchair for
Well,
Olympic
yeah. So,
type
like a
sports would
para
be my
Olympian
guess.
would be someone that like only has use of
Right, their
two
arm.
arms or whatever.
Right.
So there's apparently a classification of
Of how
there's a
para
class.
you are.
Oh, that well no there's a classification of athlete called a paracyclist. And so apparently there is a paracyclist. He's Spanish. His name is Ricardo Argiles. It's Argiles Argiles. It's probably Argiles. So Ricardo Argiles. And he is 47 years old and he's a double amputee on both arms. Okay?
Holy
Because,
cow.
you got to have legs to pump the bike, right? Like at least when
Right.
you like, if you're going to be a para Olympian or para bicyclist, whatever. So he, I guess, won. What did he do? He was at something called the UCI World Championships. And what is the UCI World Championships? So, um, he was presented with, and I got a picture of this guy. So he has no arms like below the elbow on either arm. Okay. And I guess it's like he's wearing a gold medal, and then it's like, we're gonna, congratulations, you're a winner or whatever. And then they're like at the para cyclist competition, and it's like, also we're gonna give you this prize, and they present to him in a box a watch that you
Oh
put on
my
your.
god.
I
You sick
swear to God,
fuck.
it's a it's a and it's like, what the
Would
fuck?
you wind it for me?
And it's a Tissot, Tissot, like you can see it. And oh God, it's so there's another picture where they have the
Oh
watch
my
on his
god.
left,
You're
on
going
his
from
left,
bad to
uh,
worse.
it's on his left stump.
Uh,
It's just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
can you
It's
just be
good.
courteous? Could you
Good.
guys just get him like a chalice or something to put on the shelf? Like,
Oh, it's a good thing he's not in the triathlon because of the swimming part. They'd throw him in and call him Bob. What
uh,
the hell?
he's able to focus solely on powering through with his legs and has gained a status as the best men's paracyclist in the world after his recent achievements. However, onlookers were amazed that the competition decided a watch was a suitable prize for the cyclist and slammed the moment as insensitive and very dark. One angry commenter stated in a response, seriously, they should be embarrassed. The moment has since gone viral, with Argyles going viral on social media after the awkward exchange, with the video spanning over 355,000 views at the time of its publication. Uh, and apparently he's like, thank you for the watch and whatever. And it's like, I bet that'll turn up on fucking eBay. It's just like,
Maybe they attached the watch to the laurel they put over his neck or something. And
no,
you
it, no,
know,
they no. There's a picture of it strapped to his stump, on his left stump. Like, it's on his stump. I'll
really.
send you a picture right. Hold on
Okay,
here,
no,
wait.
no, no. I believe you. Oh my!
No,
If you're this bad already, I can't wait to hear the police blotter. It's like, oh my God,
Well,
Jesus
you
Christ.
you ask me what I what I read. So if you have is your phone close? I just sent you a text message with two pictures. Like there's a like this suit. He's sitting there with the holding the watch and whatever. So yeah, it was just it is what it is. Um,
Oh Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. Did you take like sarcastic pills for dinner tonight, or cynicism pills, or something? It's like, holy
it
shit. This is
it just yeah, it's like wow, like like he was like maybe someone's like being I like you wonder there's like some like 15-year-old like super unironic ironic goth kid that's like I have an idea, let's give him a watch. It's like because I can't imagine a normal I unless you have a borderline personality disorder. I don't know what would compel you to go through, but like at some point when you're walking up to the dude with the watch, it doesn't occur to you like, oh my god, I can't believe this is I what am I doing, like what am I doing here?
Yeah, somebody was doing some second guessing.
So you've
Somebody
seen that
was
you're
doing.
looking at the pictures?
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to it right now.
Yeah. It's
Let me. Oh. Well, he's holding the plaque with the stubs,
yeah,
and
he's
then
oh yeah, he's doing he does quite a bit with those knobs. And I look, I'm sure he could probably out, bicycle me. So I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him,
I'm
but
just wondering
it,
how he holds his balance.
he probably has extra little nub holders on his bike.
Nub holders.
I don't know.
Yeah, the nub holders are next to those things you stick in ears of corn. Watch him eat some corn. You're sick.
Yeah.
God, what? What the hell?
So okay.
uh,
So all right,
I'm
I
glad
got
I
I
got to
got
work in the morning.
I got another. Yeah, you got to get back to doing the bridge. I got a story. I thought this was hilarious.
And I
So
don't know.
there's a.
If you top the nub guy, I don't know how
I
you're
don't
going to
know
do it.
the police blotter yet.
Or the sperm. This is going to be good.
So so in um, Australia. This is published in middle July. Australia. There's apparently a growing upheaval of opinions for and against in Australia because somebody is importing American pickup trucks into Australia. And you're like, so? And they're very popular. And so much so, they import them in. Listen to this. Supersized American pickup sales surging in Australia. Australians are becoming increasingly obsessed with the massive American sourced full size pickup trucks that make a Ford Ranger and Toyota Hilux look diminutive. At the midway point of 2023, no corner of the new vehicle market has grown its sales faster than pickups. This is a category in Australia. They call it pickups over $100,000, which is up a whopping 65.4% year to date. The
Wow.
sales year over year are up 65%. Australians have taken delivery of 5,724 of these behemoths this year, led overwhelmingly by the Ram 1500, with 3,600 units for sale. It's the arch nemesis, the Chevy Silverado, which has racked up 1,015 sales year to date, which, for some context, is more than double the haul managed by the Jeep Gladiator. Both the Ram 1500 and Chevy Silverado used the this is an Australian news story. Use the thirsty petrol V8 engines, and so offer braked trailer towing capacities up to 4.5 tons, and are about 10% longer than something like a Ranger. Yeah, no kidding. Um, but what's interesting is the they're they think our pickup trucks are these giant trucks, and what's happening is and what they do, and not, so why are they $100,000? So what they do
That's
is they
cheap.
bring the they well no they bring the trucks in and then they have to convert them to right hand drive.
Oh, that's right, because of the roads over there.
They're tearing these things apart and they're like you're literally I saw a guy in a truck and he's talking like why is that guy sitting in the passenger side of his truck talking to the news guy and I'm realized wait a minute he's sitting in the driver's seat because they flipped the thing and so they put all this money into it. But it's like, okay, well, how big are these? They're like these giant trucks, and it's like, okay, so like my truck is a V8, 4 7 liter, no five, no five 7 liter. I don't know whatever my Tundra is. I don't remember what it is. Maybe it's a four, whatever it is. I don't even know. And it's a crew cab with a short bed. And like they show these trucks in Australia, and most of them that I'm seeing are crew cabs with short beds. And like they're freaking out that these are giant pickup trucks, basically crew cab Ford F-150s. And it's like, y'all ain't never seen no crew cab dually with an 8 foot bed, have you? It's
I
like,
was just thinking that.
that is not a big pickup truck.
No, it's not. No,
And guess what? And they're selling every one of them. They're selling. They're like, there's this guy. He's on video. He's like, I can tow my boat. He's like, he like Captain Obvious here. He's like, yeah, when I'm towing stuff, I don't get pushed around like I was in the smaller vehicles. So this is much safer. It's like, yeah, no kidding. Really? It's like, even in Australia, they want to buy pickup trucks.
I remember my G ride truck was a full size club cab with an 8 foot bed, and you needed curb markers to make a turn. It was it was insane. It was
Yeah,
insane. You know
yeah, yeah.
what's orange and sleeps for. There, I just gave you the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was
Wow.
just like, wow, these fools don't even know what a big truck is. Like, oh, and apparently, oh, this was interesting. So, like, they're that this story, and so like, they're all huffy and high and mighty, and they're showing crew cab pickup trucks with short beds in these parking spots, and they're like, look at how much, like, like you look at this, and you're like the truck is sticking out beyond the spot, or it's bigger than the spot, and you're like, how small are
Good.
your parking spots?
Right. I,
It's like, that is not a big pickup truck. And it's like, holy cow, apparently everything is smaller in Australia. And I had no, like to them, a pickup truck is a Hilux. And it's like, pickup truck, I mean, look, a Hilux pickup
it's a
truck
Toyota for those that don't know.
it's a diesel Toyota. But a Hilux size pickup truck in America
It's
is
a
your
mini
daughter's.
truck.
It's your daughter's truck. That's
Right.
the truck you give your daughter in high school to give her. She wants a truck, or you like that's what you can, like yeah. She doesn't get a cute car. She doesn't get the cute convertible. She gets the Ford Ranger.
Right.
And it's like that's a little girl truck, and it's like wow. It just the perspectives on it are just. But they're selling so many of these things. And as big as Australia is, and like the outback, like they're so far out. Like God, I wouldn't want to have some of these little vehicles. Like I'd be scared to death. Like you know what I mean? You get stuck or ability to survive. And do they get snow in Australia anywhere? I don't even know. Do they?
I I don't think so.
They
Maybe
don't.
uh,
Do
maybe
they?
uh, maybe they're completely farthest southern region. Possibly, because remember their winters are our summer their winters, and
Mm-hmm.
instead of north where we get the snow down there because of the equator and the axis of the earth, it would have to be, yeah, because of South Pole, and all the other things. And I
Yeah, but
maybe I really don't know.
do they have really high mountain ranges in Australia like we have like in the middle of the country we have these high mountain ranges that we you get snow like you get snow in Colorado not because it's close to the Arctic Circle. You get snow in Colorado because it's closer to space.
Yeah,
I just like
I really, that's a good question. The topography of the land, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean,
We'll
it's
probably if you are in Australia, I know we have listeners in Australia, especially some of you Blazer guys. So don't
right
don't
in.
kick me too hard. But like podcast at john911.com. Do you have mountain ranges in Australia where like if you're up in the mountains and you get caught in like like a snow drift, like like all of a sudden like a blizzard and 8 feet of snow, are you stuck up there for like a week like you can happen here in the US or Is it you guys just get piddles of
It
snow down
yeah,
in the south, like in the winter, like on like your little
in their
southern?
winter, yeah, and
Is like snow in Australia kind of like snow in Nashville? Like just like
oh
you
yeah,
get
once in a
once
great
in a while,
while,
yeah,
yeah,
once in a great while,
shut the town down. We got a dusting.
yeah.
Um,
It's like I don't know.
I yeah, that's an outstanding question. Like I said, I really don't know, but I'm sure south of Australia, I would have to look to see what's there. The Falklands, I'm sure they would get it, but yeah, that's a damn good question.
Well, the
That's
Falklands are off the coast of Argentina in
oh
South
that's
America,
oh
but
that's right.
but but it's not that far because when you're down there near the bottom, it's like a lot of people because a lot of people don't realize like
It narrows
you know
down.
well because like people don't realize like how do you like if you look at the because they're used to looking at a map like a square, they don't realize like getting from Russia, like from northern Russia to to say let's say like you wanted to go from Siberia to Finland.
Not that
You
far.
like from a boat. What you yeah you wouldn't go down the coast of Russia. You would just go over the Arctic Circle. You see what I mean? Because it's
Yeah, I
closer.
know exactly what you're talking
Yeah, and
about.
it's like it's kind of that way down there too. Like because you have the Antarctic continent there, but it's like kind of yeah, it's a lot closer than yes. I don't
Right.
know. Like, and I know the weather. I'll tell you what, the weather can get tough in the Falklands. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it is. Ask
Yeah, it can
England.
get real tough, and that Straits of Magellan down there too. It gets real bad down there too. So
And what was the name of that battleship they sunk? General Delgado or whatever.
that well we sunk the UK sunk the General Belgrano during the
The
Falklands War.
Falklands, right?
And
Right.
then the during World War II, the Graf Spee down there, they scuttled it. So I don't know
Yeah,
which
oh,
one you
that's
were. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
The General Belgrano used to be an American cruiser. Did you
I
know that?
think I had read that. I think I
Hmm.
had read that. When you get my age, you forget a lot of the detail.
You forget a lot.
But
Yeah,
I
a
did
lot of the
remember which
details.
ship it was that they sunk. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
Give me some
yeah,
credit. But other than that, can we get going on the police blotter? Unless you
yeah.
have Oh, before
The-
we get on that, a little bit of gun content. I can't believe that you shot a 40. But okay, that's that.
Fuck, we bought a 40.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
yeah, we
I'm
bought it.
I'm really surprised that you did. I told you about my Glock Model 22 that 40. I put one mag through it and handed it away. I couldn't stand it. I don't like 40s at all.
Yeah, it's a higher pressure round. I don't like much care for 40 either, but when you're down here at our range, I'll let you shoot. This gun is so heavy because it's an all steel gun.
Right.
It's not that bad.
Really?
Like so,
Why?
yeah. And I'll tell you what. You want to talk about a gun that sucks to shoot? A 40, a Glock 23, and a Glock 27. I swear to God, the Glock 27 is a little subcompact gun, and the 23 is the in between of the 22.
Right.
I swear to God, the 23 kicked worse than the subcompact little 27. And it's
Really?
because the subcompact has a double encapsulated recoil spring, and that 23 I had was an early, like probably a Gen 3. Um, yeah, it's like it must have been a Gen 3. It might have been. I
Yeah.
don't think it was a Gen 2. I don't know
I
if they'd
had
had them Gen
I
2
had a
40s.
hard with the Model 22 when I got it brand new. And I could not get back to center for any grouping. I just couldn't do it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I just didn't. If you ever shot a gun you just don't like, and I just didn't
Oh
like
yeah.
it. I just didn't. It just didn't fit me. It
Hmm.
just didn't fit me. It's that simple. I mean, I would rather have shot a 38 wheel gun.
Sure.
It just didn't fit me.
It's like
And
okay, boomer.
you
It's
smart
like
ass.
no,
you know,
the 40 caliber Glocks they a little they can be a little they can sting a little bit. They kind of honestly what did they literally they sting. Like that's the best way I can describe it is because the amount of recoil and flex that's in that frame, it just stings my hands.
Yeah,
It, it,
I mean, there's a lot of departments that are still running 40s, Glock 40s, and God bless them, but it just,
they're getting away from them. They're getting at them as soon as they can. Once the FBI went back to nine, because nobody really. I mean, there are some people that like 40. Rob Latham likes 40. He's a competition guy. People that want to shoot major like 40, but they're also shooting it in heavy steel. You know, in
right.
heavy steel guns. There's some people that shoot the Glock. There's a tactical practical Glock. It's the Glock. I can always get the numbers. We have both of them. One's a Glock 34. One's a Glock 35. They're like the 5-inch slide, 6-inch slide guns, but one's in 9, one's in 40. And there's some people that really like that in 40, the practical tactical guns. And I don't, I don't begrudge them, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
So,
to each your own. I just didn't like it.
hey,
You know,
a fun fact. I'm not going to give the results here, but we have performed and recorded a 10.8 1911 function test on the Springfield Armory Custom Shop 40 Smith and Wesson. And the 40 Smith and Wesson 1911s are notoriously finicky guns, and so we'll have that published probably next week. And it's an interesting test to see if it passes. So,
really.
anyway, we'll have to get to the police spotter because you got to get up because you got to go work on your bridge tomorrow. So,
Well,
um,
and make the road safe for mankind.
make the road. Well, hey, have you had any more jumpers?
Yes, yes, that's why I was delayed. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, yeah. They, after you see all these different suicide attempts, it just, I hate to say it becomes commonplace, but it never gets reported, and we don't want it reported because of the
Because you
copycats.
copycats. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
it's always on the hush. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just,
Was this person just threatening to jump, or this person actually
oh no,
jumped?
no, he got wet.
Okay, he got wet. I guess that's the best way to put it. Did he get wet? Oh fuck. Okay.
No, that's what we say. He got wet. You
Okay.
know, he got wet, and I, I, to this day, I've personally been at five of them when they've happened over the course of all the years, and I just can't understand what goes through their minds. It's well, not a fun fact, but unfortunately, my dentist had such severe depression. He um he committed, so he hung himself, and I just don't understand, unfortunately, what goes through people's minds. I don't know if it's a depression, is it money problems, is it this or that, but to take the cheap way out like that, I'll just never understand. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well.
as you well know, you know very well, some people are fighting to live, and these people are fighting to die. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It
Yep.
just, I can't fathom it, for lack of a better term. I
Yeah.
can't, life is so precious. Why don't people just understand it more? It's just, oh, did you see what real quick before we get to the blotter? The mayor of Chicago was chastising the news organizations because on over the last few weekends, there has been social networking of, hey, everybody meet up down at this corner, and it's turned into a mob scene, overturning cars, shooting, jumping on cars, doing everything they could. well when the
Flash mobs.
well, yeah, but the news labeled them as mobs, and that completely set the new Chicago mayor off. They are not mobs. How dare you classify them as a mob? So one of the reporters said, what do you call a group of 200 kids overturning cars, doing this? They were just feeling their oats. That's exactly what he said. But don't ever characterize them as a mob. Then he ended the press conference.
See, that is a that because that person would rather be. How dare you? That person's like Greta Thunberg or whatever. How
Right.
dare you? steal the
Yeah.
youth of the children. Like, it doesn't have to, can be so indignant that they don't actually have to answer any questions or actually have a real conversation.
Well,
Be
he
like,
does.
"Ah, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm out of here." It's like,
Well, come on,
whatever.
he's
Like,
upsetting his
shut
voting
up.
base.
Yeah, I mean, all these commies just, they never can tell the truth, so they can't come up with any solutions. And then every 5 years, it's a new 5 year plan, but they
Right.
can't actually make a real plan. So it's just every 5 years, just some bullshit. That's the way they did in Soviet Union. So anyway, let's go to the police blotter so we can get you to
Uh,
bed.
yeah, go
And we
ahead.
didn't we didn't plan this from our I swear, because you don't know this is coming. But New York
I
City,
didn't know. I didn't know the
New
guy with
York
no
City,
arms, the sperm, every other
New.
damn thing was coming. I had no idea.
We've gone. Oh, now we got body parts. So the Mandarin Hotel in New York City, which is a very nice hotel, it's not clear what exactly happened. If this was a suicide or if this person was choosing to jump, like maybe from something to something, or it wasn't really clear the way it was reported. But this person fell off the Mandarin Hotel and he started hitting things on the way down. And so when he ultimately came to his earthly reward, he came down in pieces. And it was a
Oh
big
boy.
old fucking mess. And so that is the first of the police blotter. The second police blotter, not that far away, Long Island, New York. Did you see the video of the woman who's in she's in the street and she's shooting a gun, waving a gun around, I think shooting a gun, and this the police cruiser, it's an SUV, comes at her and like sideswipes her and then knocks her down, and like then they arrest her. And it's a hell of a hit, and I don't know if the cop was trying to run her over or whether he was you know
Trying to run her over.
trying to sideswipe her. Like, I mean, if he was just trying to intentionally sideswipe her, or whether he was like, I'm just sick of this shit. But it was, she didn't get killed. She didn't actually get run over by the car, which was amazing. And so everyone's saying, oh, it's on video, and it's like, oh, it's so great, like he's a hero, and he is. But imagine seeing that video out of sequence and someone just says, "Police try to run over this woman."
Oh yeah,
Like they had
that'll
to
be the
run.
headline.
They had this. So yeah, I mean, although the headline went well this time, but like this kind of stuff happens, and then some bullshit lawyer comes out of the woodwork and wants to sue everybody for $100 million and make the cops look bad. And it's like, that bitch was in the middle of a street shooting a crazy ass gun. She was shooting at cars driving by. She's literally shooting at car because it's Long Island. Like, there's people driving down the road that have no idea this is coming. You know what I mean? And so
And
the
yeah, and they can't defend themselves because they took the right to have handguns away in the New York
Well,
boroughs.
in a car, the best thing to do is just hit the long skinny one on the right. In this case, the long skinny one on the right was the black girl on the street with the fucking pistol. So anyway, that is the story out of Long Island. The third story is out of Texas.
Uh oh.
And this is it's like, what could possibly beat the Mandarin Oriental Hotel and the sideswiping of the girl in Long Island? What could possibly
I'm
beat
I,
that?
I'm
I
sure
br-
you have something.
I bring you Peggy Jones from outside of Houston, Texas. Let's see here. Police get a call. I'm just going to read this. You're not even going to believe when I read this story. A Texas woman was left brutal injuries after she was viciously attacked by both a snake and a hawk while mowing her lawn. So let me read that again. She's mowing her lawn, Peggy Jones. Peggy's out there doing her, keeping the HOA happy. She's knocking down, she's keeping the fescue alive and keeping the wildflowers away. And she is attacked at the same time by both a hawk and a snake. And she is torn up. She has to go to the hospital. Dude,
Wow.
let's. Oh, have I got your hook? Let's read on. Peggy Jones told Houston News she'd been on a tractor mower when the snake fell out of the sky and landed on her at her home in Silsbee. As it began to tighten around her arm, a hawk then swooped down and began clawing at a defenseless Jones in an effort to grab its prey. The snake was squeezing so hard, and I was waving my arms around in the air, she told the outlet. Then this hawk was swooping down, clawing my arm over and over and over, just kept saying, "Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus." So basically, eventually ripping the snake from her arm, the hawk, successful in the scavenge, flew away, leaving Jones with a bloodied arm covered in deep lacerations and bruises. So basically, what happened was a hawk had grabbed a snake to eat it and was flying through the air to take it back to its nest, as they are prone to do. The snake wriggled its way out of the hawk's clutches, lands on this woman
Oh
while
my
she's mowing
gosh.
her lawn, and then the hawk is like, "The fuck you doing with my lunch?" Swoops down to grab, and and this woman's in the middle of this. And this is a story. The only thing that would make this story better would be if it was on Ring camera. And I just say, hold on. See, Joan says she knew how close she could have been to getting bitten by the snake as she slung her arms from side to side in a bid to remove the slithering intruder. Quote, "He kept striking in my face. He was striking my glasses. I discovered the lenses on my glasses was broken, and there was snake venom on my glasses." And there's
Holy
pictures.
shit.
Yeah, holy shit.
Snake venom, talon marks all in your arm, or if not beak peck marks. That poor lady.
Yeah,
That's that.
this thing could have ripped her eyeballs out. And it's like, I was
Well,
like,
I'm glad her arms are okay. Otherwise, she'd be bicycling with that other guy.
yeah, but you had to get a free Tissot watch. So,
That's right.
all right. Well, this wraps up episode 314 of the John
You
Nice
are
11
not right.
podcast. If you want to see any more stories or pictures or links of anything we discussed, please go to the website at john911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good night.
Bye bye.